Hello and welcome to episode 7 of our champion chat from 2019, where we're talking to all the adult champions from grade A right the way back to vets. And it's been going really, really well so far. Thanks everybody for tuning in. But we've got a really special guest on tonight that has a lot of experience in the sport, puts a lot into it, and has a lot of hours on the bike as well. As always, this is brought to you by beforemx.com, Motoklik.com, and Factory Fins. And the man we're going to talk to tonight is Mark Mooney. So if you have any questions for Mark, make sure to write them in the comment section down below this video here, and we'll try to answer them for you. So it's your 2019 over 35 vet national Irish champion, Mark Mooney. Mark, welcome onto the show. Congratulations on your championship last year.
Thank you. How's it going, everybody? And how are you, gents? Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah.
Just, staying indoors at the minute, you know.
Yeah, it has to be done. And I was commenting on your background there. It looks like a lovely place for you to hang around. It's very nice ambience there. Looks very relaxed.
I don't, I'm not too much into like little girly things, but this is one of my kids' bedrooms, Olivia, and she's a big unicorn rainbow fan. So, but it's the only place you could hide where the kids wouldn't be annoying me. So they don't know where I am at the minute. But yeah,
it looks the suit.
There's a few little motorbike pictures around here, and she's done a few grass tracks. So if you actually went around the room, we'd find a few trophies, But,
brilliant. Well, the tattoos really suit the rainbows and the unicorns here, man.
They do.
Brilliant. Yeah. So, do you want to talk to us a little bit about last season then? Obviously, you're racing on this YZ250 machine here, and it's the exact same as for everybody else. It's the 5 or 6 rounds that it was, starting off in Burning Mount and finish up in Doon last year. So, how was the championship for you overall?
Yeah, like it was like any championship, Like you have to show up and do every race and be there for every round. And I had a couple of years there before where I had a couple of bad injuries when I was leading this championship. In fact, 2017, I had a good lead in it, and I went to Doon and I blew out my knee, and I was finished for the season. And in 2018, I had really prepared for it, and I went to Desert Martin and had a nasty accident on the last lap of the first race, and ended up breaking 11 ribs, punctured my lung, and the season was gone for the year, So I just got back, and I was very determined there last year to give it a good lash, and I went back on the 2-stroke again, which I've done a few times, and just was focused on my training. So every day I don't know anyone knows this about me, but I get up before work and I train 5 days a week. So I just kept that going all the time. And every time I showed up on a race day, I sort of felt like I'd have a good chance of winning it. Obviously, I do have competition, but if I had me preparation done, I was thereabouts on the day, So it went very well. I think I won every round. We were up in Robinson's, which is up in
Claudy there, near Derry.
There, and the bike stopped after 3 laps of the first race, so I actually DNF'd the very first race, and Ricky Watt won that, which put him back in the lead in the championship. But I think after 3 rounds, and I had to borrow a bike off Tom McGivrican that day. He had a spare bike with him, which was a 250F TM, which is like a totally different bike. But I managed to get the grips with it after a couple of laps, and ended up winning the second and third moto. It was tough going, but still, it was that was my worst day I had. Every other day, I think it was sort of a won most of races. But one race that stands out that year was probably Tandregee, because there was 4 or 5 quick lads there that don't normally do the round.
Okay.
And the racing was really good. Like, it was really fast. Very competitive. 3 or 4 seconds separating. Like 5 or 6 of us going over the line at the end.
Yeah.
45, so yeah, it was just good all around. Like, that's the first Irish championship I ever won, actually.
Brilliant, well done.
Won a good few Southern Centres over the years.
Yeah.
As a grade A back in the 90s, and won in 2007. But it was just nice to get that, because even though I went away from the sport for a few years, like, you always wonder, would you win an Irish championship? So to me, it was a nice big deal. I did prep well for. I would have liked more faster riders to be in it, but maybe they'll come. There's always somebody fast coming through,
Yeah, true.
Hopefully next year. I don't think it's going to be happening this year.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, but the 5 days a week training really stands to you, because when you watch you on the bike, you can see that you're quite aggressive in your style and really try to squeeze the most out of that YZ250. Why do you choose to ride the 2-stroke over the 4-stroke?
Well, I don't know. Like, this might sound crazy, right? But I love the noise off the bike. The feel and the sound, right? So
Yeah.
and the smell of it, the two-stroke. So like when I was racing as a child, there was no such thing as a four-stroke bike. A four-stroke was like a boring type bike that didn't have a power band or a power valve, and you'd be just looking at it going, no, I want to ride a two-stroke. So like I don't know, I did race four-strokes for years and I did quite well, but as I got a bit older, I just wanted to put the fun back into it for me. So the two-stroke was the only option. And I just think as any grade A rider, if you can ride a two-stroke bike, it's a little bit more difficult. But there's a bit more satisfaction now that we can do it, you know. So I suppose that was the reason, just the noise, the sound, the fact it's a little bit more harder to ride, and it's a bit more old school, you know. That's sort of what I like it, you know.
Yeah. Do you think it's a little bit more affordable to race on a two-stroke over a four-stroke as well?
I don't know. It probably is, I'd say. It's again, though, it depends what level you're at. Like, if you're a really top elite level rider, like a two-stroke engine's getting stripped probably between events every 4 or 5 hours, every 2 or 3 hours, I don't know.
Yeah.
But for me, like, we still spent a fair few bob on my bike this year. It probably got 2-3 pistons. It got a couple of turn rods. You know, it got every time I went racing, it had fresh rubber on it. You'd be going through 3-4 filters a day. And the expense is similar. I wouldn't say it depends on what level you're at. Like, if you're going to be sort of grade C-ish rider where you're at in the novice end of it, like, you know, you'd probably get away with similar money, but I don't know. It's a hard one to answer.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that you would answer it that way, that it being so close. I would have thought there'd be a big difference. But to throw it back to where you all started then anyway, you've provided me with a few pictures for the chat today. So this is a picture of you here on a CO125 back in schoolboy days. So where did the story of Mark Mooney and motocross start?
Well, that picture there you're looking at is from 1994, and that's at Fox Hills in the UK. And basically that race I rode was a schoolboy 125 support event for the GP. So that was a brilliant week for anyone who was there, because we got there Tuesday and there was like the 125 and 250 GP riders were in the paddock, and we were in the paddock with them. And there was a selection of Irish lads that were there, me being one of them. I think Ian Coates was there. Other guys you might know, Peter Lumley, Dylan Nally, you might remember that name. Graham Boygers was there. And we basically were there for 4 or 5 days. But the reason why I put that picture sent to you is because it's just a big memory for me, because that was like back in the 90s, the races were unbelievable, you know.
Yeah.
And I'd say there was 50, 60,000 people at that event at Fox Hills.
Wow.
And the fact that you get to ride, like, and the jumps, like, you'll never see it like until you go there. Like, you're going off vertical drops. You have to hit them in 4th or 5th gear. Like, it's this type of thing where you're fully committed everywhere you go.
Yeah.
But, like, it was a cool experience. But that year we raced a good few rounds of the British Championship. But going back to where I started, it would have been, my first race would have been 1990 on a KX 100. And I'd say I was 12 or 13. And the first race I did was in Johnstown. Motoklik was obviously gone now. But, that was a major experience for me, because I remember thinking, riding around in my field, the local field that I was going in, that I'm going to win this race. And I went out and I met guys like Graham Boygers, Ian Coates, another fella, Craig Kelly, you won't know him. And these guys lapped me like 3, 4, 5 times per race. That's how fast they were. Like,
so it wasn't as easy as you thought it was.
I was downhearted about it. I just got a bug for it, and I loved it, you know. And the next weekend I was harassing my father. Let's go racing, you know. So that's how it started.
Yeah. And I see here another picture from 1998. So would you have been in the adult championship by this stage then? If you started out in 1990?
Yeah, I would have been 98. Would have made me. Let me think about that. I would have been 20, going on 21 there, or probably 21. Not sure. Probably 21. But that's a picture in Gormanstown. It's the current Gormanstown, but the start gate was in a different position.
Okay.
And that would have been a Grade A Southern Centre Championship round. And that's actually me at the front. Sorry, that picture's 1999.
Okay.
I have #1 plate on the bike because I won the Southern Centre the previous year.
Right. Okay.
And behind
so
me,
this is you here.
That's me, #1. Yeah.
Yeah.
And behind me, then 21 is Niall Costello. To his left is Graham Boygers on #2. And I think David Coates is right behind me. I can't really see him. And funny enough, my brother Robin Mooney is on the right, on the Honda there as well. He was borrowing a bike that day.
Wow.
But so that's a bit of an old one. But yeah, that was a good old track back then. It's still a good track today, but really fast back then, like mad fast with no jumps. More of a grass track type speed, if you know what I mean. But it was good, really good.
Who was your biggest competitor back at that time then in '99?
Honestly, I had a few over the years, but that year particularly, I would have said Graham Boygers. And I'll tell you why, because you can see on his plate is number 2.
2, yeah.
The year before that, sorry, just one of the kids was coming in there.
That's okay.
Myself and him were banging bars in a big way in 2000 or 1998. And each race event that we showed up, he'd win one, I'd win one, he'd win one. Like it went down to the over. And in fact, I only won the championship that year because we were equal on points, but I had the most wins, and I got it that way, you know. So
okay, yeah, it really came down.
It went down. I think we had 350 whatever points it was each, but I got them on the last race.
Yeah,
nice, you know.
And do you think? How would you compare motocross in Ireland now with back then? Like, do you think there's as many people taking part, or what the way does it look?
I don't know. Like I'd say it's similar numbers.
Yeah.
But the problem is now, I don't think all the championships are supported. Like there's loads of riders, and some of them choose to go to certain type championships. Like for example, I do the odd grass track.
Yeah.
And I see the grass track championships, whether it's a Milverton or whether it's a national grass track or whether it's Mervyn Griffin runs a series. They're always there's thousands, there's hundreds of people there. There's hundreds of there, you know. And the special events, the small events, like, well, they're small enough, but they're big in Ireland. Like the one I run, the likes of the Motor Circus, they get the crowd. Whereas the championships, they seem to they start off well and they dwindle a little bit when people maybe miss around or maybe they get hurt or they fall or whatever. So I think years ago, if you go back to the 90s, the rounds, particularly the Southern Centre Championship, like that was a big deal, you know, and you get everybody out and you get them all out, and it seemed to go to the wire every year. There was never a runaway winner. It always went down to the wire, you know. Like I remember a couple of years, this is before I started getting faster, like David Coates, who's you know, one of the guys I learned an awful lot of things off when I was riding the bike. Like he had 3 or 4 scraps 3 or 4 years in a row with Philip Motoklik. Now nobody would know that much about David, but that's how fast he was.
Yeah,
you know, like would have been on the Motocross the Nation team but because he won the championship. But David would have been, you know, this much behind him at the end of the race. You know, so like, I don't know. The championships, it's hard to call. It does need a shake up going forward somehow. I don't know what that is, but I think it needs some injection. But maybe a few good new tracks.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a few things going on with it. It's Friday evening. That's what we're here for. It's meant to be a relaxed.
This is the only day I haven't barbecued more or less this week.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, it's meant to be a relaxed enough affair in these chats here. But no, I'd agree with you there. Like, you know, I only followed the National Irish Championship for the first time with the camera last year, and it definitely seemed to drop in numbers coming towards the end of the season. But, you know, the likes of the Motor Circus, the MCC and I2 Day, the Portrush Beach Race, Rockabill, Dublin City Supercross seem to draw a really good big crowd. And I'd like to see more of that kind of happen to get more numbers into the bikes as well. I think that could really help if there's some way of like partnering some sort of a festival with motocross, like what they do with the Sparta Cross in the Netherlands, you know, to kind of bring more people into it. We were talking with Sean Laverty there about opening the new track up the north, and he said it just brought locals in to see it, and, you know, who knows what that will do for the sport, you know. So
well, that's it.
Yeah. I have a picture here then from I don't know what year is that. You're going to have to tell me, Mark. But there's a picture of you beside some small Italian lad. I don't know who it is. So maybe you want to tell us a little bit about that as well.
I don't know Antonio well, personally, right? But I did meet him, and that picture was taken up in. I think it was. I can't think of the area. I think it's called Moneymore or Moneyglass. It was some. It was a Grand Prix that was ran up in the north. And they were actually supposed to run the Motocross the Nations there the same year, but it was cancelled. Right. But they ran it somewhere in Tyrone there. I can't think of the name.
I think Money Black for me, I think is the name, but
I had a few beers on me and I just grabbed them and got a picture of them. So that's sort of my claim to fame. But all the other pictures are of 2007. And that's a year where I took a year out of work.
Okay.
And I didn't work at all, basically. Well, I did for the 1st January, and I stopped, I think, 1st or 2nd of February, and I bought a couple of. I actually got sponsored that year through Yamaha, through Dante.
Okay.
Yeah, they gave me the bikes, and I had sort of decided I'd get back because I'd missed 3 or 4 years due to. I was doing road racing. I was doing other things.
Right.
Not road racing, sorry, short circuit racing.
Yeah.
Just so busy with the job, but I always wanted to go back and try and win another championship if I could after the one in 1998. And basically, I just went flat out racing for the year and ended up going down to the wire again in the Southern Centre Championship with David Coates, and I won it. He was second. But it's just the couple of pictures there. One of them, the one above Antonio, that's in Bird Hill. I think I'm on the 450 there, and then the one to the right and left of that, they're just down in a place called Logan, which is in Wicklow, Wexford, where we do a bit of practicing. And then the one to the right of Antonio was in Doom. That's the last round of the championship that year.
Okay.
And, yeah, that was a good out year for me. I got a lovely trophy for that, and won a lot of races. Well, I think I won the Grassrock Championship as well that year. So yeah, it was all good. Yeah.
There's a comment in here from Paddy O'Neill saying you were fast in 2007, Mark. So nice comment. Just to say as well, there is a question here from Jordan Kinsella, but we'll get to an answer later on. So if I will answer it for you, Jordan, don't worry. But if you have any more questions for Mark, be sure to write them into the comments below as well, and we'll get to it. So this was the switch to Yamaha then, and you've stayed on Yamaha since, Mark. You're a Yamaha fan, given the tattoo on your leg.
Yeah, I made the switch before that.
Okay.
We go back a good bit here, right? As in back in 1995, I rode Hondas up until that point, right? And then there was a team of sponsors came together, and I think it was 95. Yeah, it would have been, and through 96. And there was a thing created called Team Moto Ireland. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but they selected a few lads, and there was some big enough sponsors in it now, you know. And there was David Coates, there was Niall Costello, there was Simon Cotter, and there was myself, and we all got Yamahas.
Right.
And that year I was going well, but I had a load of bad races, just hurt myself and didn't finish the championship. So I sort of didn't work out too good, but I liked the bike. And it was fast and it was comfortable and it was like, you know, the suspension was plush. So I just said, right, I'm going to get one of these at some point. But I did go back to Hondas after that. I was back in a Honda in 97, 98, 99.
That would have been the switch to the aluminium frame Honda then as well around that time.
They did, yes. I had a couple of them. I sort of had a Honda 250 from 94, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And I also had a 125, which I was doing somebody else for 125s, you know. Just the odd one.
Yeah.
But, no, Yamaha sort of came my way then around. I wasn't racing in 2000, 2001 or 2002. I had a very bad back injury. I got up in Paddy Kelly.
Right.
When I ever up there, it's the next.
Well, I know it, but I never got to see it in action.
So I got a back injury there that it didn't feel bad, but as the months progressed, it turned out I cracked a few vertebrae, needed a fairly big operation, which I got done in 2000 and late 2000 it was. Had a fusion done in my lower back, so the pins are still there today. I was about 20 screws down there, but basically I didn't ride a motocross bike until 2003. Which I bought a YZ125, and after that I just loved it. So I said, right, if I ever go back, I'll end up going back on the Yams, you know. I never look back after that.
Yamaha were kind of the pioneer for the 4-stroke as well, with the YZF 400 and the 426 and everything.
I had a 426. One of the last 426s I had. I think it was an 03 or an 04. That was the first 450 I ever had. Lovely bike. Just a bit of an animal. Like there was only 4 gears on it. And it was heavy, but like it could go. I ended up buying a set of Olan's for it, which made a big difference. For me, it was ride it. But you know, they're I still love them. Like, but I do have a Honda CR250 here. In the house 92, and that's been restored. A lovely Climo.
Lovely.
My heart is with the Yams, definitely.
Well, I know Niall Costello as well, and he stuck with the Yamahas until this day. I don't know if he switched in between, but Niall. I was a member of the Waterford Motocross Club out the airport there. That Niall had Niall had put it all together. It's a pity that it's gone now, but I know that he stuck with the Yamahas all the time as well. So
he is the last since the Team Moto World. He's on Yams, but like before that, he he was on 125 Hondas and CR80 Hondas when he was really small.
Right.
He was one of the fastest riders like you'll ever have seen on an 80.
Yeah.
But yeah, for years he was one of the fastest guys. But I think when he got to his teens, he was like some of us. We went a bit mad. I went a bit mad,
Right. Yeah.
No,
It can happen.
Yeah. So he probably done a bit of that too, But he was very, very fast, definitely.
Well, I know Niall is eager to have tracks open down in the southeast and around the Waterford area there where Niall is from. So I don't know if there's anybody watching that has a bit of land down that area or something. It might be a good idea to talk with him about getting a track opened up, because he did manage that Waterford club for a few years there before it got developed on, is what happened in the end. The land was taken over to build some sort of store hall or something like that, So that's what happened. But I'm going to move on here to what Jordan Kinsley's question was. And Jordan was asking you, Mark, he wants to know, would he ever consider trying to win an over 35 British championship? And this picture, I think, here is from said championship, albeit a couple of years ago.
Well, to answer that question, I did try to go and win it. And they stopped it in 2016, I think. Right, so it was running from, I don't know, whenever, maybe 2000, I think it was 9 up until 2016, and I had won a Southern Centre in 2013 here. I also won the Ulster Vets that same year, and then the following year in 14 I won the Southern, and they cancelled the Vets in the North, right? So there was nothing to do. So I decided I'd try and win, or I'd try and do this championship in the UK. And so I went over with Tom McGiffrey, and he brought me to every round. And in 2015, and again, I had prepared for it. Like I had done loads of training in the background, loads of bike time, and was going fairly well. And when I'd done a Southern Centre here at home, I was running at the front with the lads, with the quick lads in the A race, So I was going well. But when I think the first round was in a place called I can't remember. I'll think for a second. Maybe Milton Park, I think it was. But anyway, there was about 50 now trying to qualify. 40 got to the line, and I qualified 7th, which I was happy with. And sort of was hanging around 7th to 10th all day. And as the season went on, I think I'd done 4 rounds. I was creeping up, and my best finish in a British was 5th. And that was either in Hawkstone. I think it was in Hawkstone Park. But at the end of the race, the lads weren't that far ahead of me. Some of these are ex-GP riders.
That was my next question. Was there any big names you're up against?
Oh, yeah, there was Brian Wheeler, Ryan Bowles, Phil Mercer. They were the top 4. Yeah. And I was sort of behind them. But as I said, as I was getting to grips with it a little bit, because the tracks are so different, and there's all the little tricks that you're only learning when you start.
Yeah.
I was only getting to grips with it. And then we went to another place. I just can't think of the name of the track, but I will in a minute. And I was running 3rd or 4th in the first race, and I dropped it, and I still finished 6th. And then the second race, I was either 2nd or 3rd for probably 15 minutes, and I dropped it again. So I was just getting there,
Yeah.
I suppose it was bad luck. I ended up breaking my wrist in July 2015, that same year, and the following Sunday I was supposed to be in Fox Hills, which I had rode before. And I was really looking forward to it, because the one thing I noticed with the older guys, even though I was old at the time, they weren't hitting the jumps as hard as I felt I could hit them. And on the tracks where there was a few jumps, I definitely was closer to them, everywhere. So I was really revved up for it, and then just broke me wrist. 7 days to go, it was really hard going.
I think that jump confidence is definitely something you notice about your riding in whenever I see in National Irish Championship. The likes of that big tabletop down by the ditch in Dundalk, or the couple of tabletops in that Athlone and everything. You're really not afraid of it, and obviously all that training you do every morning stands you to have the strength to manage the bike in those circumstances. We have a question here then from Paddy Dunn as well. He wants to know, what's your most enjoyable track to ride on a 252 stroke in Ireland?
I'm going to have to say probably Down. And I'm only basing that on the last day I rode, which is at the Motor Circus. But I had a brand new, literally a brand new YZ250 rolled out of a crate about 2 days beforehand. I ran it in my field here. And the only reason it was because we were waiting for parts from my own bike, and myself and my dad still helps me working the bikes. But we thought we'd have the bike back together, and this was on the Monday. And I was actually half thinking of getting a new bike just because the other one had like 60 hours on it.
Yeah.
And it looked like we couldn't get the parts in time, so I didn't take any chances. I rang up the lads in Mega Bikes, Kieran there, and he had an 18 sitting in a box since 2018.
Right.
And he done me a bit of a deal, so he got it delivered to me and ran it in. But that day, like, there's nothing like being on a fresh two-stroke if it's literally fresh out of the crate.
Yeah.
And I was racing with the over 35s had Ian Coates, David Coates, Ricky Watt. So Ricky's obviously me closest better than
arch nemesis.
Normal circumstances, but going back 20 years ago, it was Ian and David Coates, and it was sort of really nice to race with the two lads again. And there wasn't a whole lot in it. Now I did win the 2 races on the day, but the bike just felt unbelievable around there that day. Like the power out of it was a perfect track for. I did try to change the gear. I did change the gear a little bit, put an extra tooth on the back, done a few little tweaks to the suspension, but like it was just like all year now. That was probably my best feeling of being on the bike. So, but there's a few other good tracks where the two-stroke was good on. Like it's good around some of the sandy tracks if you can get it to hook up, you know. Like that day up in Robinson's before the bike stopped. I remember after practice, my lap times would have put me 5th or 6th in the MX2. You know, so it was. I was feeling good, like, you know. But anyway, the bike stopped that day. So
but I could see how doing it can be an enjoyable track on a two-stroke. I mean, the whole thing about two-stroke is this kind of snappy power, and you have to keep it singing all the time. Whereas a four-stroke can pull you up a hill or fix a messed up corner for you. So doing is one of those places where there's not too much uphill or anything like that. It's really kind of flowy circuit.
It sweeps a little bit. You can go inside, you can go outside. There's loads of time to make up ground if you make a mistake, you know, with all the hills and that. So it's good. That'll be the best one, I think.
Yeah, I want to move on now to the Dublin City Supercross and the Dublin Motocross Club. So obviously you're very involved with this, and you have some support from Dublin City or Town Council as well for this track. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that facility there and the Supercross event that takes place annually?
Yeah, like it's just something I got involved in. Around 2012, I wasn't racing in the years before 2012. I just was busy. My first child came along then. But there's a fella, you'll probably know this guy, Konstantin Ivanov.
Yeah, I know the name,
races. He's a good grade C rider, you know, and he's a friend of mine. But he was involved with the club as a committee member. And basically, I was looking for someone to practice. And he said, look, come down here, have a look, and you can practice here. And give me a few pointers. And, you know, nobody will say any more about it. So, anyway, I ended up meeting a few of the lads that were on the club. Hang on, my dog is barking here. I'm going to get rid of her.
This is the fun of live broadcasting. Anything can happen, you know. Poor John.
This proves that it is live.
Yeah.
We'll probably start now again in a second. But sorry, where was I? Oh yeah. So basically, Constantine introduced me to a couple of guys. There's Brian Hart, who's the chairman. There's Paul Boyle, who's like the mechanic and groundsman. And there's one or two other guys. Paul Riley's the secretary. And I just got to know the lads. And because I suppose loads of experience with racing bikes and being around the scene for years, it was like a welcome, good time for them to have somebody there like that, because we had loads of kids in the club that were literally coming in off the street with a bike. Like they'd have a motocross bike, in some cases a robbed bike that they didn't know was a robbed bike, right? And they'd only have the helmet. They'd have no gear. They'd have their jeans, their runners, t-shirt, and maybe a helmet, looking for somewhere to go. So we said, right, we'll try and address this issue here. So the club started up with young guys coming every week or second weekend, and we try and run a practice event for them, you know. And I was at some of these events. I wasn't at some because I was racing, but like I tried to be there as many as I can. But it was Constantine's idea. Yeah, it was his dream actually to have a race event here. So I was like, I don't know, it's a bit tight, you know. We'd really have to do the maths on it, you know. So I got a hold of Mick McGinn, got him down, and got Jim Jones, who would have been on the committee at the time, and a few other head honchos. And we got them down to have a look at the place. And we dumped a load of sand in there, prepped the track, and they sort of were going with it, saying, "Yeah, I think we can run an event here," you know. And one of the problems was the start gate and how many people we'd run the track. So one evening, I think in 2014 14, I got Stephen Mullally, a couple of his mates, a couple of fast guys. There was probably 10 of us, including myself, and we all ran around the track together in front of the MCUI committee. And they sanctioned it basically there, and they said, right, we can do this. So after that, I think it was 2015 was the first event. We just ran it. And I got all the people who I know over the years. Now, there's a whole list of people here, gents, that I could go through. People who I know well and trust that were prepared to come and help us. And we ran a good event. And it was a 2-day event. And we got the weather, which is really the most important. Because we normally run in September. Now, I know this year we ran in November, but that's because everything got kicked down the road.
Yeah, there was a lot of changes,
So yeah, I just got involved, and it led into this event that's now become a fairly big event every year.
Yeah.
And it's only because I was asked. So like, I suppose what my point is, I love motocross, and I'd rather invest my time and money into something like this than anything else. You know, obviously my business, I work well alongside my dad, but like that's what I have to do to get money. This is what I like to do. Because I love it, you know. And so that's sort of how it all started. It just fell into places, like, you know.
Yeah, well, it's a really special location there, just off the Alfie Burn Road, in the middle of Dublin, you know, and you're right across the bay from Enterprise Ireland, who support my dream and you know my business in developing the Motoklik product. And you get a lot of people walking by there on the day as well. I know I was doing the video for it there at the end of last year, and people with, you know, just hanging out by the fences, looking at this, wondering what is this thing that's taking place in front of me, and introducing not a new eyes to the sport. So it's brilliant to have it, like, you know, and I thought it was a really great event last year, even if the weather didn't suit us as well.
Yeah. That was like, it was that was a rerun. We had cancelled it a month before that.
Yeah, I had the youth on the Saturday or something.
Yeah, and the youth event was brilliant. Like, I mean, there was a couple of, I got some absolutely great comments, like, and personal private messages sent to me.
This is a picture from the youth event here on that Saturday.
Yeah, like, it was just a great day, great event. We got some really fast kids there. Like, the best guys in the country were more or less there.
Yeah.
And there's some great comments on Facebook, and some of the photographs were attached to it. And even like the likes of Philip McCulloch's son Cole was there, who'd never come down to the track before. Now, I know Philip. I know him as a racing competitor for years, but he sent me a lovely message to say that was the best event he'd been to in years. You know,
wow.
And with all the experience that he's got in as a motocrosser, it was nice to get that. And I know his son loved it. I think his son was actually second on the day. He didn't win it, but he was very close to winning it. You know, pictures. You want to see the pictures of him? He's literally 10 foot above me. Yeah, I'm standing in the box. You know what I mean? It's just it's a great little event for the kids. I'd say we'd like to run more kids events on it if we get a chance, you know.
Yeah. We definitely the smaller bikes and stuff, you know, in a tighter space. But the kids really are brilliant that take part in the sport, you know, and the ability they have on the bike already is amazing. Like, you know?
It's unbelievable.
But you talked there. So just before we move on here, another comment from Gerald Callahan saying, have to agree with Mark, was a wonderful event and definitely the best event of the year. So there's another compliment to add to the list on that, man. But you spoke there a little bit about working alongside your dad, and, you know, that's the facilitator to put both time and money into Irish motocross. And you come on board as a sponsor for a few riders and sports people in Ireland through Mooney's Hyundai. And also Autobuy. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about those companies and what you do for motocross in Ireland?
Well, the companies are like, the Mooney's Hyundai is originally EP Mooney's. We're operating out of Longway Road since 1973. And that business was started by me, my grand... Hang on a second, I'm going to deal with this dog, right?
Okay.
2 seconds, I'll be back to Pasha.
So, we had our issues with John Meara there with the internet breaking down. So it's definitely live here. We haven't pre-recorded it. So if you have your questions, make sure and get them in here now. But I hope you've been enjoying listening to Mark. Obviously has a lot of knowledge on motocross in Ireland over the years. And there's so much you could talk about with him. We've gone like double the time of everybody else so far. So, if you want to keep letting us know then about how Mooney's Hyundai got started with their granddad on the Long Mile Road there.
Well, we weren't always Hyundai.
Okay.
In 1973, it started. My grandfather, so it was EP Mooney, and E is Ernie, and P is Porrick, and Porrick's my dad. Ernie's my granddad. So my granddad passed away a couple of years ago. He was 90, But they started that business as a Datsun dealer back in 1972. They got a Datsun franchise, and basically it just grew, and it became a fairly household name in the motor trade. To a point where we actually ended up having about 13 different businesses, companies that were all motor dealers. And I think we had probably 14 or 15 different franchises, 8 sites. And unfortunately in 2008 into 9, with the recession, we folded nearly all them businesses except for the one in the Lawnmower Road, which we renamed Mooney's, and we had held on to our Hyundai franchise. So that's sort of where that started. So Mooney's Hyundai, even though EP Mooney that is 1973, this started in 2009. But we already had Hyundai dealers within the EP Mooney group, and they're going back since 1980 something, 85, 86, I think. We were one of the first time players in Ireland, you know. So like we've about 70 staff, couple of big workshops. We've obviously a massive Hyundai parts department. We have a big service department we do a lot of work for the guards. We're it's a good business. It's busy, and you know that's where I am Monday to Saturday on a normal week. Obviously, we're not in the normal times now, but that's that.
And Autoboy is a sort of a new venture for you then the last couple of years?
Well, again, Autoboy started in 2009, but it was not called Autoboy. It was just like an online platform called Cash for Cars. Okay. And to be honest with you, we changed the name in 2018 to Autoboy.ie, which we currently have. We're trying to get a trademark at the minute. We've applied for all that, you know, and it looks like we're going to get it. But that started because, to be honest with you, our Cash for Cars online business was really good, really successful, buying loads of cars off the public. But it just, people start copying it, like other lower, smaller type dealers, and all of a sudden the name was, the Cash for Cars thing was everything that Harry was doing it. So we said, look, we'll go with a strong brand, build a new website, build an online platform that we can engage with people. That's what we did, and that's what Autoboy is. So basically, if you want to sell your car, you just log on to Autoboy and you'll be sent somewhere within one of our dealers. So it's going really well. That's going really well for Softson. But in terms of sponsoring, guys, like I think I said just before we came online, like I would much prefer to sponsor somebody that's got 2 wheels underneath them, as opposed to say a footballer or like, you know, without any disrespect to any of those sports. I don't hate them, you know. Like it's what I grew up doing on BMXs, on mountain bikes, then motocross bikes. So like, if somebody came along to me with a fair proposal and they were, you know, willing to put in the work, we'd have a look at it. So we sponsor 4 or 5 guys. I can, you know, Stuart Edmonds, well documented. He's our highest profile rider. He's like a brand ambassador for Autoboy. He has a van that we supply him. We give him some funding for his racing. I sponsored Jordan Keogh, Jordan Dunn, Dylan Steins as on a motocross bike. I've helped out other riders over the years, loads of other riders over the years. I won't mention any names, but they know who they are, you know. And there's another guy we sponsor or have sponsored over the last 3 or 4 seasons. His name's Killian Callahan, and Killian is a downhill mountain biker, very high level elite rider. Won a world championship in 2018, I think, and the under 21 championship. And we sponsored him like with a van. We've helped him out with some funding as well, because he travels the world doing rounds of the enduro series, and also we're heavily involved in sponsorship, and we'll continue to do it, provided we have the funds there to do it, you know.
Well, it's brilliant. It's brilliant that you do get behind the sport, because it is quite niche, and as you're saying, like there's you know, maybe a queue of people waiting up to sponsor a local GAA club or soccer club, and more power to them as well. It's great that people get behind sport, but for us, we really need every little bit we can get. And you know, we were talking to Owen Duffy there a couple of days ago, and he had flow gas in behind him, so it'd be great if we could maybe grow that corner a bit. But Mooney's Hyundai and Autobuy getting behind riders and events here in Ireland, it's great to see, and thanks very much for doing it.
The thing about it is, like, if businesses could look at the riders, right? Like, this the way we look at it, and this is what the business should be looking at. Is they should look at the amount of followers they have on either Instagram or Facebook, because if you got large following and people engaging with them, like they're just an ambassador for your product, and they're out there mentioning you every single time, every single race event, every training session, whatever, and it is good for business, and that's the way. This is the way the future is. So like, they're all putting your money that way, in my opinion. You know?
There's just one last question here. We're going to, before we finish up. We've gone to nearly 40 minutes already, Mark. So from Trevor Calderwood here.
Because I'm only doing this so I can get away from the kids.
We'll keep it here then. So So Trevor here saying, I'm surprised Mark hasn't rode Farley Vintage Motocross the Nations. Have you ever considered it?
Yeah, I want to do it. 100%. I was actually going to do it this year. I have an entry through David Coates was organising the team. I'm fairly sure I'm on the entry list. I need to confirm that, but I don't know with my leg whether it's going to happen now. And there was a couple of other years where I was supposed to do it, and it clashed with the event at Dublin City Motocross Club. So I want to do it. I have a bike there to do it. I know if I train hard, I'll have a good crack at it. You know what I mean? So I'm there for the taking. If anyone wants me to add them, maybe not this year, but I'm there for the take.
you're volunteering for it anyway. Just before we finish up here, then there's a comment from Mark Norton. Mark Mooney, a gentleman both on and off the track, enjoyed many years racing each other. Keep up the good work. Regards, Mark Norton. So that's just a nice little.
Mark is an old sparring partner.
Okay.
And he was a good, fast, good rider. You know, I think there was in 1994, I would say, there was a Southern Centre 125 Championship, which they didn't run for years. And I was leading it. And but I was wild, like absolutely wild on the bike. And he was way more than me. And he won it in the end. I got second. But he's a fella, sound fella. I think he's about 5 or 6 kids now, and he's flying helicopters around the world.
Wow, cool. You might have a chat with me about investing in Motoklik. You never know.
He's a man to talk to, yeah.
I'm going to put a comment in here as well. Just when you mentioned about the past, there's a brilliant Facebook group that came up in the last few weeks or months. I'm not sure, but it's called Friends Who Like Past Irish Scrambles and Motocross. So many pictures from the tracks that I would have never seen, like Red Bog and Johnstown and everything that way. But I'd highly recommend joining in it if you want to see the past of Irish motocross and where it all came from. It's really brilliant to see.
Yeah, no, I'm actually on it. Yeah, I'm on it myself. There's lots of good pictures from Johnstown, Red Bog, and that. I know you said to me, you might want to talk about them, but like that would be another event talking about them.
Yeah.
You can do it now if you want, but like all the memories, fellas, of my vintage anyway that were from the south of Ireland. Not so much the guys from north, although they all showed up when Johnstown was open.
Yeah.
But the club, the Irish Schoolboy Club, was Johnstown, you know. So
Well, there's a couple of other vet national Irish champion riders left. Ian Cooney, Lawrence Spence, and Darren Wilkinson that were champions this year. I haven't been able to hear anything from Ian Cooney. I don't think he's on Facebook. So if anybody's watching and knows him, please ask him to get in touch and we can try and arrange that. Lawrence Spence as well the same, but Darren Wilkinson said he's not for the public eye, so he doesn't feel too comfortable.
Get Lawrence through Stephen Russell.
Yeah.
If you have messaged the shop there, they might get a hold of him. I don't think he's on Facebook, but I'd say he'd be happy to do it.
Yeah. No, we can definitely give it a try anyway. Was there anything else I wanted to wrap up beforehand? No, I think that's kind of it, Mark. So thanks very much for your time this evening. It's been great to talk to you. And actually, we might try and organise a talk about old Irish motocross through this, where we can get a few people on Zoom or something that way. And I don't know, will it be live? We might have to record it first and then put it out. But that'd definitely be something interesting to kind of capture as well.
Let me know if you want, because there's a few lads that I think would be good crack on it.
Yeah.
If you want, they can give you some good insight. Couple of the race days, and couple of real life situations.
Yeah, well, I'd like to keep doing these live videos. I think they're really good. I've enjoyed doing them. They're quite an easy one to do as well. You don't have to travel around or anything. And thank you guys for your time. So I hope everybody else has enjoyed the live stuff as well. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well then, Mark, we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you very much for coming on. As always, this has been brought to you by BeforeMX.com, the classified ads website for everything off-road. Motoklik.com, our new product for suspension setup. Automated suspension setup, and thanks to everybody who subscribed to the email list. We have loads of people on there now, and it's really, really good. Helps us out a lot. Massive for the investor side as well. Had a good conversation on that today, so hopefully things stay going the right way there. And also for factory fins, these are custom printed helmet fins, so throwback to 90s motocross but with a modern twist. You can get your own name and number and everything on there as well, so be sure and check that out on Instagram, where there's a link to buy it online. But for this evening, Mark Mooney, you've been an absolute gentleman to talk to here this evening. Thank you very much for talking to us. Enjoy that last can of Guinness there now, and the bar and the barbecue and the rainbows. All right, and so we'll catch up with you again. Maybe we'll have an old Irish motocross talk again in the future.
Not a bother.
All right, thank you. Take it easy. Bye bye.